My name is Caroline. I'm 48 years old. And this is about the moment my husband raised his hand to me and how that single act of violence gave me everything I needed to destroy him in divorce court. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on notifications. This story is for every woman who's been betrayed, gaslit, and abused, and who found the strength to fight back. And to my loyal listeners, thank you for being here. You understand these journeys of survival and revenge. Now, let me take you back to 6 months ago, to the night I discovered my husband's affair with a woman young enough to be our daughter, and the slap that sealed his fate. I met David when I was 25. He was 30, charming, ambitious, a junior partner at a prestigious law firm. I was a graphic designer at a small agency, creative and passionate about my work. We fell in love fast, married within a year. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. For 23 years, I believed them. We built a beautiful life, a 4-bedroom house in an upscale suburb. 2 children, Emma, now 20, and Noah, 17. Successful careers, the envy of our social circle. David became a senior partner at his firm. I freelanced from home once the kids were born, balancing motherhood with my design work. Were we happy? I thought so. Sure, David worked long hours. Sure, he traveled frequently for cases. Sure, our intimacy had faded to maybe once a month. But that was normal, right? 23 years of marriage, 2 kids, demanding careers. Passion fades. Companionship remains. I believed that. God help me, I believed it. Looking back now, I see the signs I ignored. The way David started going to the gym obsessively at 48. The new cologne. The expensive haircuts. The wardrobe upgrade. Tailored suits. Designer shoes. Luxury watches. I need to look successful for clients, he'd say when I commented on the spending. The phone he kept face down on every surface. The password he changed monthly. The way he'd leave the room to take certain calls. Client confidentiality, he'd explain. Can't discuss cases in front of you. The business trips that seemed to increase. Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami. Sometimes just overnight, sometimes long weekends. Big case, important client. You understand. I did understand. Or I thought I did. I was a supportive wife. I managed the household, raised the kids, didn't complain when he missed dinners or school events or anniversaries because of work. I made excuses for him because I loved him, because I trusted him, because I was a fool. The truth started revealing itself 3 months ago. Our daughter Emma came home from college for spring break. She was out with friends one evening when she called me, her voice shaking. Mom, I need to tell you something. I'm at Rosewood Restaurant downtown. Dad is here. Oh, that's nice, honey. Is he with clients? A long pause. No, Mom. He's on a date with a girl who looks my age. The room tilted. What? I'm looking right at them. They're at a corner table. She's young, Mom. Really young. And they're holding hands. Kissing. I couldn't breathe. Are you sure it's him? Mom. It's Dad. I'm sure. Stay there. I'm coming. I drove to Rosewood in a daze. My hands shook on the steering wheel. This couldn't be real. Emma must be mistaken. But when I walked into that restaurant and saw them, reality crashed down. David, my husband of 23 years, sitting intimately close to a girl who couldn't be older than 22. Beautiful, blonde, laughing at something he said. His hand was on her thigh, under the table, but I could see it. They were so absorbed in each other they didn't notice me approaching until I was standing right at their table. David. He looked up. The color drained from his face. Caroline, what are you? Who is she? The girl looked confused, then horrified as she realized who I was. Mrs. Morrison, she whispered. She knew my name. She knew who I was. I asked who you are, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. I'm Madison. I work. She's a paralegal at the firm, David interrupted, standing up. Caroline, this isn't what it looks like. Really? Because it looks like you're on a date with someone young enough to be your daughter. We're discussing a case. Don't lie to me right now. Not with our daughter watching from across the room. David's eyes found Emma, who was standing by the bar, crying. Shit, he muttered. Yeah, shit. I looked at Madison. How old are you? 21. Jesus Christ, David. 21. Caroline, let's not do this here. How long? What? How long have you been fucking someone young enough to be our child? Madison stood up, grabbing her purse. I should go. Sit down, I said coldly. She sat. Caroline. How long? David's jaw tightened. 6 months. 6 months. 6 months of lies. Of business trips and late nights and client dinners. 6 months of me being a fool. I want you out of the house tonight, I said. Pack a bag. Leave your keys. Don't come back. You're overreacting. I'm overreacting? You're having an affair with someone barely older than our daughter, and I'm overreacting. Keep your voice down. Get out of my house tonight, or I will pack your things myself and leave them on the lawn. I turned and walked away. Emma met me at the door. We left together. David didn't come home that night, or the next, but 3 days later he did, and that's when everything got worse. David showed up at the house on a Saturday morning. I'd spent 3 days in shock, crying, calling a lawyer, trying to process the destruction of my marriage. Emma had gone back to school. Noah was at a friend's house. I was alone. David let himself in with his key. Caroline, we need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. I'm not leaving until we discuss this like adults. Adults don't fuck girls young enough to be in college. He flinched. Don't be crude. Don't be crude? David, you're having an affair with a 21-year-old paralegal and you're worried about me being crude. It's not an affair. It's complicated. No, it's simple. You're cheating on me. With a child. She's not a child. She's a grown woman. She's 21. Emma is 20. You're sleeping with someone your daughter's age. Madison is mature for her age. Oh my God. Stop. Just stop. I turned away from him, disgusted. Caroline, I didn't mean for this to happen. But Madison and we connect. She understands me. Makes me feel young again. Oh, poor you. 51 years old and feeling your age. Let me grab my violin. You don't understand what it's like. Getting older, becoming invisible. Feeling like your best years are behind you. So your solution is to have a midlife crisis with your employee? Very original. David, don't mock me. What else am I supposed to do? You destroyed our marriage. 23 years, thrown away for a girl who probably doesn't even know who the president was when you graduated high school. This is why I didn't tell you. I knew you'd be like this. Like what? Upset? Angry? Hurt? Yes, David, I'm all of those things. My husband is fucking someone half his age. How exactly should I react? More maturely than this. I laughed. A harsh, bitter sound. You want maturity? Fine. I've contacted a divorce attorney. Her name is Rebecca Martinez. She specializes in high-asset divorces with infidelity. You'll be hearing from her Monday. David's face changed. You're not divorcing me. Watch me. Caroline, be reasonable. We can work through this. Couples therapy. I am not going to therapy with you. I'm going to divorce you and take everything I'm entitled to. You're being emotional. Damn right I'm emotional. You cheated on me. One mistake. One affair. After 23 years of marriage, I made one mistake. 6 months is not one mistake. 6 months is a choice. A choice you made over and over again every time you lied to me. Every time you kissed her. Every time you booked a hotel room instead of coming home to your wife. I said I'm sorry. No, you didn't. You haven't apologized once. You've made excuses and blamed me for being upset, but you haven't said you're sorry. David stood there, breathing hard, his face red. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. Maybe I'm not sorry. Maybe Madison gives me something you stopped giving me years ago. And what's that? Excitement. Passion. She looks at me like I'm the most important person in the world. You look at me like I'm a paycheck and a last name. The words hit like physical blows. I look at you like you're my husband, the father of my children, my partner for 23 years. I'm sorry that's not exciting enough for you. It's not. It hasn't been for years. We're roommates, Caroline. Polite strangers sharing a house. When was the last time we had sex? When was the last time you tried? When was the last time you took me on a date? When was the last time you looked at me the way you look at her? Because you're not her. You're 48. You've let yourself go. You don't even try anymore. The cruelty of his words stunned me into silence. Madison takes care of herself, he continued, oblivious to my pain. She's fit. She's vibrant. She's interested in things. Get out. What? Get out of my house. Now. This is my house too. Get out. I grabbed his designer jacket from the back of the chair and threw it at him. You're being hysterical. I'm being hysterical? I'm being hysterical. I grabbed a vase from the side table, an expensive crystal piece we'd gotten as a wedding gift, and threw it past his head. It shattered against the wall. Jesus Christ, Caroline. Get out. Get out. Get out. I was screaming now beyond rational thought. 23 years of being the perfect wife, the supportive partner, the understanding woman who never complained. It all came pouring out in rage. David moved toward me. You need to calm down. Don't touch me. But he grabbed my arms anyway, trying to restrain me. Let go of me. I pulled away violently. In the struggle, I scratched his face. Not intentionally. My nails just caught his cheek as I wrenched free. You fucking bitch, he shouted. And then he slapped me. Hard. Across the face. An open-handed slap that snapped my head to the side and left my ear ringing. We both froze. His hand was still raised. My face was burning. I could already feel it swelling. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then I smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. It was the smile of a woman who just received the most valuable gift imaginable. I touched my throbbing cheek gently. Thank you, Caroline. No, really. Thank you. This changes everything. I didn't mean. You hit me, David. You put your hands on me in anger and you hit me. You scratched me first. Accidentally, during a struggle you initiated. But you deliberately struck me across the face. The realization of what he'd done started to dawn on him. Caroline, I'm sorry. I lost my temper. It won't happen again. You're right. It won't. Because you're leaving. Right now. And you're never putting your hands on me again. I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Calling the police. You can't be serious. You assaulted me in my own home. I'm very serious. Caroline, please. Think about this. Think about Emma and Noah. Do you want them to know their father was arrested? Do you want them to know their father hits their mother? He lunged for my phone. I stepped back, already dialing 911. Don't do this. The operator answered. 911, what's your emergency? My husband just struck me in the face. I need police to come and remove him from my home. David's face went white. Ma'am, are you in immediate danger? He's here right now. I don't feel safe. Officers are on their way. Stay on the line. Can you get to a safe location? I walked to the front door, opened it, and stood outside on the porch. David didn't follow. The police arrived in 7 minutes. I showed them my swollen, reddening face, told them what happened, showed them the broken vase. David tried to claim self-defense. She attacked me first. Look at my face. The officers looked at his minor scratch, then at my swelling cheek and split lip. Sir, we're going to need you to come with us. This is insane. I'm a lawyer. You can't arrest me. You struck your wife. That's domestic assault. You can come voluntarily or we can arrest you. Your choice. David looked at me. Caroline, please. Tell them it was an accident. I met his eyes. My husband deliberately struck me across the face during an argument about his affair with a 21-year-old employee. I want him removed from my home, and I'm filing for a restraining order. They arrested him. Right there in our driveway, in front of our neighbors, they put him in handcuffs and drove him away. I stood on my porch, holding an ice pack to my face, and felt something unexpected. Relief. Because David had just handed me everything I needed to destroy him. I went to the emergency room that afternoon. The doctor examined my face, took photos, documented the bruising, the swelling, the split lip. Mrs. Morrison, have you considered filing charges? He was arrested. I'm definitely pressing charges. Good. Do you have somewhere safe to stay? This is my home. He's the one who's banned. I got a temporary restraining order that same day. Emergency hearing. Sympathetic judge who took one look at my face and granted it immediately. David was prohibited from coming within 500 feet of me or the house. Then I called Rebecca Martinez, the divorce attorney I'd contacted earlier. Mrs. Morrison, I heard about the assault. I'm so sorry. How are you? I'm fine, and I'm ready to proceed with the divorce. Immediately. Good. Can you come in Monday? We need to strategize. Monday morning, I sat in Rebecca's office with my medical photos, police report, and restraining order. Caroline, this is actually very good for your case. He hit me. How is that good? I'm sorry, I meant legally. Domestic violence changes everything in divorce proceedings, especially in this state. It affects asset division, alimony, sometimes even custody if children are involved. Noah is 17, almost an adult, still a minor. The judge will consider this. Now, tell me everything. I did. The affair with Madison. David's cruel comments about my age and appearance. The physical altercation. Everything. Rebecca took detailed notes. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to file for divorce on grounds of adultery and cruel treatment. We're going to request the house, majority of assets, alimony, and all attorney's fees. Can we get that? With domestic violence? Absolutely. Especially since he's a high-earning attorney and you've been the primary homemaker for most of the marriage. I freelanced. Part-time from home while raising kids. You sacrificed your career for his. The court will recognize that. Over the next few weeks, Rebecca built an airtight case. She hired a private investigator who documented David's affair. Photos of him with Madison at hotels, restaurants, her apartment. Credit card receipts for jewelry, dinners, weekend getaways. all purchased during our marriage, all evidence of his infidelity. She subpoenaed his firm's records and found something explosive. David had been having Madison bill clients for hours she didn't work, then using that as justification to give her bonuses he was pocketing himself. He was embezzling from his own firm to fund his affair. Caroline, Rebecca said, barely containing her glee, this is fraud. He could lose his law license. Good. She also discovered that David had been hiding money. A separate bank account I didn't know about, funded by cash bonuses and consulting fees he'd failed to disclose. Nearly $200,000 I'd had no idea existed. That's marital property, Rebecca explained. He tried to hide it. That's dissipation of assets. The judge will not be happy. Meanwhile, David hired a lawyer, some old friend from law school who agreed to represent him despite the conflict of interest. They tried to paint me as the aggressor, filed a counterclaim saying I'd attacked him first, that he'd acted in self-defense. But the evidence didn't support it. My injuries were far worse than his. The police report clearly stated I was the victim, and the 911 call, where I'd said I didn't feel safe, was recorded. David's lawyer tried to claim the affair was my fault. Mrs. Morrison neglected the marriage, refused intimacy, drove Mr. Morrison into the arms of another woman. Rebecca tore that argument apart. So Mr. Morrison's solution to marital dissatisfaction was to commit adultery with an employee half his age, embezzle from his firm to fund the affair, and then assault his wife when she confronted him? That's his defense. The judge was not sympathetic, especially after Rebecca introduced evidence that David had been discussing leaving me for Madison. Text messages between them. Madison, when are you going to tell her? David, soon. I just need to move some money around first. Make sure she can't get to it. Madison, I can't wait until we can be together openly. I hate sneaking around. David, me too, baby. Just a little longer. He'd been planning to divorce me anyway, planning to hide assets, planning to leave me with as little as possible. But I'd caught him first. And the slap? The slap had been the gift that kept on giving, because it proved he was violent. It proved he was willing to hurt me. It proved everything I needed it to prove. The divorce hearing was scheduled for 4 months after David's arrest. He'd been charged with assault, pled down to a misdemeanor with anger management classes and probation. No jail time, but a permanent record. His firm had suspended him pending an investigation into the embezzlement allegations. Madison had been fired immediately. She tried to reach out to me once to explain. I never responded. The morning of the hearing, I dressed carefully. Conservative suit. Minimal makeup that still showed the faint bruising on my cheek. It had been 4 months, but there was still a shadow. I wanted the judge to see it. Rebecca met me outside the courtroom. Ready? More than ready. David was already inside with his lawyer. He looked terrible. Thinner. Older. Defeated. Good. The judge entered. We all stood. Please be seated. We're here in the matter of Morrison versus Morrison. Mrs. Morrison is petitioning for divorce on grounds of adultery and cruel treatment. Mr. Morrison has filed a counterpetition. Let's proceed. Rebecca presented our case methodically. The affair with Madison, 27 years younger than David, an employee of his firm, 6 months of deception, the financial evidence, hidden accounts, embezzlement from the firm, credit cards used to fund the affair, the domestic violence, my medical photos, police report, 911 recording, restraining order, David's text messages, his plan to leave me, his plan to hide money. It was devastating. David's lawyer tried to counter. Your Honor, Mr. Morrison made mistakes. He deeply regrets the affair. The physical altercation was an isolated incident, a moment of poor judgment during a heated argument. A moment that resulted in documented injuries to his wife, the judge noted dryly. Yes, Your Honor, but Mr. Morrison has completed anger management. He's in therapy. He's taking steps to be better. That's commendable, but it doesn't negate what he did. David's lawyer switched tactics. Mrs. Morrison is requesting an unreasonable settlement. She wants the house, 70% of assets, and permanent alimony. This would leave Mr. Morrison nearly destitute. Rebecca stood. Your Honor, Mr. Morrison earns $400,000 annually. He has a hidden account with $200,000. He attempted to dissipate marital assets. Meanwhile, Mrs. Morrison sacrificed her career to raise their children and support his career. She's now 48 with limited earning capacity. She's entitled to maintain the lifestyle she had during the marriage. Mr. Morrison's earning capacity has been severely impacted by these proceedings, his lawyer argued. His firm suspended him. His reputation is damaged. He may lose his law license. Due to his own actions, Rebecca countered. He committed adultery with a subordinate. He embezzled from his firm. He assaulted his wife. Those are choices he made. Mrs. Morrison shouldn't suffer financially because of his choices. The judge reviewed the documents in silence. Finally, he spoke. Mr. Morrison, I've reviewed the evidence in this case. The infidelity, the financial deception, the domestic violence. I find your conduct during this marriage to be reprehensible. David's face reddened. You engaged in an affair with an employee significantly younger than you. You misused firm resources. You attempted to hide marital assets. And when confronted, you struck your wife hard enough to require medical attention. Your Honor, I'm not finished. The court finds that Mrs. Morrison is entitled to the marital home, 70% of all marital assets including the hidden accounts, her attorney's fees, and permanent alimony in the amount of $6,000 per month. David's lawyer stood. Your Honor, that's my ruling. Mr. Morrison, you have 60 days to vacate any remaining personal property from the marital home. The restraining order remains in effect. This court is adjourned. The gavel came down. I'd won. Everything. David sat there, stunned. His lawyer was already gathering papers, clearly ready to leave this disaster. I stood, straightened my suit, and walked past David without a glance. In the hallway, Rebecca hugged me. Congratulations. That was a complete victory. How much did I get? Total. The house is worth $800,000. Your share of the other assets, retirement accounts, savings, investments, probably another $600,000. Plus the alimony. You're set, Caroline. I'd entered that courtroom as a betrayed wife with a bruised face. I left as a wealthy divorcee with a fresh start. All because David had slapped me. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. David moved into a small apartment across town. His firm settled the embezzlement issue quietly. He resigned, paid back what he took, and agreed never to practice law there again. He kept his law license, but barely. The state bar sanctioned him, put him on probation. Madison disappeared from his life almost immediately. Apparently, a 51-year-old disgraced lawyer with a domestic violence record wasn't as appealing as a successful partner at a prestigious firm. Who could have predicted that? My children were devastated at first. Emma especially struggled with what her father had done. Mom, did he really hit you? Yes, sweetheart. He did. I can't believe it. I can't believe any of this. I know. I'm sorry you had to learn these things about your father. Noah was quieter about it, processed internally. But when David tried to schedule time with him, Noah declined. I don't want to see him right now. Maybe later, but not now. David blamed me for turning the kids against him. But I hadn't said anything beyond the truth. I didn't have to embellish. The reality was damning enough. 6 months after the divorce, I did something I'd been thinking about for years. I relaunched my graphic design career. Not freelancing from home, a real career. I'd kept my skills current over the years, dabbled in new software, maintained a portfolio. But I'd always put it second to being David's wife. Now I was nobody's wife. I was Caroline Morrison, designer. I landed a position at a boutique creative agency. Not entry level. They valued my experience and maturity. Senior designer with flexible hours and creative freedom. The salary wasn't huge, but combined with my alimony and the assets from the divorce, I was comfortable. More than comfortable. I was thriving. I sold the house. Too many memories. Too much David in every room. Bought a smaller, modern condo downtown. Decorated it exactly how I wanted, bold colors, contemporary art, zero compromise. It was mine, entirely mine. I started dating again, cautiously at first, then with more confidence. Met a man named Thomas, 52, divorced, a college professor. Kind, intellectual, no interest in women half his age. We took things slow. No rush, no pressure, just two adults enjoying each other's company. He was the first man in 23 years who wasn't David, and he made me feel young again, not because he was trying to recapture his youth through me, but because he made me laugh, made me think, made me feel valued. A year after the divorce, I ran into David at Emma's college graduation. He looked older. Worn down. He was there alone. Apparently, he was seeing someone new. But she hadn't come to the graduation. Caroline, he said stiffly. David, you look good. Thank you. An awkward silence. I'm sorry, he finally said. For everything. The affair. The things I said. Hitting you. All of it. I looked at him. Really looked at him. This man who'd been my entire world for 23 years, who I'd loved completely, who I trusted with everything, and I felt nothing, no anger, no pain, no longing, just indifference. I appreciate that, I said, but it doesn't change anything. I know. I just wanted you to know. Okay. Are you happy? I heard you're working again, seeing someone. I am. Very happy. He nodded. Looked like he wanted to say more. Didn't. We parted ways. I went to celebrate Emma's graduation with Thomas and my family. David went alone. Later, Emma told me he tried to talk to her about reconciling with me. He asked if I thought you'd ever forgive him. If there was any chance you'd take him back. What did you tell him? I told him that ship sailed the minute he hit you, that you're better off without him, that he needs to accept what he did and move on. I hugged my daughter. Thank you, sweetheart. Mom, can I ask you something? Always. When he hit you that day, you smiled. You said thank you. Why? I thought about how to explain it, because in that moment, I realized he'd just given me everything I needed. Evidence. Proof. Leverage. He'd shown his true colors in a way no one could deny. And I absolutely knew that I was going to win. You were thinking about the divorce? Right after he hit you. I was thinking about survival, about protecting myself, about making sure he couldn't hurt me again. Emma shook her head in wonder. You're kind of a badass, Mom. I laughed. I'm a survivor, honey. There's a difference. But maybe Emma was right. Maybe I was a badass. Because I'd taken the worst moment of my marriage, the moment my husband struck me, and I'd turned it into my greatest weapon. That slap had hurt. Physically, emotionally, psychologically. But it had also freed me. That was 6 months ago. I'm 49 now, living in my beautiful condo, working at a job I love, dating a man who treats me with respect and kindness. My kids are thriving. Emma graduated and started a great job. Noah's headed to college in the fall. David is somewhere. I don't keep track anymore. I heard through the grapevine that he's working at a smaller firm, making a fraction of what he used to. That his relationship fell apart. That he's struggling. I don't feel sorry for him. Not even a little. He made his choices. He cheated with an employee half his age. He lied for 6 months. He tried to hide money. And when caught, he hit me. Every consequence he's facing, he earned. The alimony payment comes like clockwork every month. $6,000 for the rest of my life, or until I remarry. I don't plan to remarry. Thomas and I are happy as we are. Why mess with a good thing? So every month, David sends me money. Money that funds my comfortable life. Money that reminds him of what he lost. People ask me sometimes if I regret how it all went down. If I wish I'd tried to save the marriage. If I think I was too harsh. The answer is always no. David didn't slip up once. He didn't make a mistake in a moment of weakness. He carried on a deliberate affair for 6 months. He lied every single day. He spent our money on another woman. He planned to leave me and hide assets. And when I confronted him, he hit me. That's not a man worth saving. That's not a marriage worth fighting for. I did the right thing. I documented everything. I hired a great lawyer. I fought for what I deserved. And I won. The slap, that moment of violence that could have broken me, instead became the catalyst for my freedom. So when people ask if I regret pressing charges, filing for divorce, taking everything I could get, I smile. The same smile I gave David right after he slapped me. And I say not for 1 second. Because I'm not a victim. I'm not broken. I'm not destroyed. I'm free. I'm happy. I'm whole. And I have David's violence to thank for showing me exactly who he was and giving me exactly what I needed to walk away with my head held high and my bank account full. Thank you for listening to my story, dear friends. If your partner raises their hand to you, document it. Photograph it. Report it. Because that moment of violence, as terrible as it is, can be the key to your freedom. Don't let shame keep you silent. Don't let love make you stay. Don't let fear convince you to accept it. One slap is one slap too many. And it's all the evidence you need to walk away and take everything you deserve. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe to Voices of Zara, and share your thoughts below. Until next time, remember, you deserve respect. You deserve safety. And you deserve to turn your pain into power. Stay strong. Document everything. And never let anyone hit you twice.